What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Transparency. It is a special edition, 5-part series. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you're at. I have a special guest tonight, so we will enjoy our special guest. Let's see what I want to talk about. Oh, I want to talk about my new intro for tonight. So without further ado, give a shout out to all my mods, all of the members, all the subscribers. If you are not one, all you have to do is just click that little button that says subscribe. It's free. And then hit the bell. Let me ring your bell. But this little intro is for a special kickoff episode. 5 parts, guys. 5 parts. Special guest Hector the Projector will be in backstage, as well as I do have a special guest. Hopefully I have a lot of special guests over the next 5 episodes that entail this. Again, the mods make it happen in chat. Love them to death. This is a Happy New Year's Eve special. So Happy New Year's Eve special. And let's see. Without any further ado, here we go. Check it out.
I'm Scott Green, and as of today, I'm the 19th president of the University of Idaho, and I'm excited to get started. Well, the mission of the University of Idaho is a land-grant mission, which means that we conduct research, teaching, and outreach throughout the state. So it's a very important mission. It's one I take very seriously and one I'm very supportive of and will continue to invest in. You know, I'm looking forward to working with our faculty and staff at the university. You know, we truly have dedicated people here. They've stuck with us through thick and thin and came to work every day and provided just a great education to our students and a great experience for our students and supported them. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with them and to build on their success. Every Vandal I've talked to has a personal story, how the University of Idaho elevated them, gave them opportunities that they thought were never possible. It's truly a special place. And again, everyone has a special story, and that's what makes this place different. Go Vandals!
I had to lace my shoes for all the blessings I was chasing.
Drinking with Daddy Green.
I had to lace my shoes for all the blessings I was chasing.
Drinking with Daddy Green.
Oddly enough, back to truth and transparency.
President Green was just cold booger pimping. What is up there?
Hi everyone.
What's good?
Can you hear me? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, about to lean in it. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, thank God, because I'm like, now it's not working. How's everybody?
Well, I mean, I brought you on the show for one reason and one reason only.
Coomer.
Maybe.
My favorite person.
Maybe. But let's welcome Bella, Bedtime Stories with Bella Lugosi. Share it in chat. All of you guys that are modding tonight, go ahead and show that link. Something I want to show you guys one more time is, you know, I took some time to put this together. To put this together only for this.
I had to lace my shoes for all the blessings I was chasing.
Drinking with Daddy Green.
I mean, how many times could you say that you took a shot with the president of the university?
Who would want to, though, with him?
Well, that wasn't my question. My question was, how many times can you say that you took a shot with the president of your university?
I've never. Have you? Because you're an athlete.
I am an athlete. We're going to talk about athletes tonight because this is episode 1 of 5. And we are going to talk about athletes tonight. You actually are on the show to read something because you got that. You got that
You want
voice.
it? You want it right now? Well, I'm the reader.
No, I don't want you. I don't want it right now. But I'm just saying, I've never actually had a shot with my president. Look at him go.
It's truly a special place. And again, everyone has a special story, and that's what makes this place different. Go Vandals.
Go Scandals.
It was a bizarre hand movement too.
I don't even know what that is.
Can we see that again?
Yeah,
That,
we can.
That part?
Yeah, that movement. Oh, wait, the movement? Okay. My bad.
Gave them opportunities that they thought were never possible. It's truly a special place. And again, everyone has a special story, and that's what makes this place different. Go Vandals.
Oh, you meant like it was a stab?
No, I did it all. It's impossible to think that his daddy was a really big time football player, right?
We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, welcome to the show, guys, Through the Transparency. This is Bella, alongside
Lana.
No, alongside Truth and Transparency. I mean, this is truth. This is truth.
Hi, happy birthday.
We're going to get into it, though. But one more time right here. It's my favorite part.
I had to lace my shoes
Brad
for all the
Hardy.
blessings I was chasing.
Drinking with Daddy Green.
Daddy Green.
President Green, Cole Booger Pimpin'. And what else I want to play before we get started is I gave a little shout out here.
I had to lace my shoes
Brad
for all the
Hardy.
blessings I was chasing.
Drinking with Daddy Green.
Oddly enough,
Right
back
here.
to Truth and Transparency. I mean,
Oddly enough, back to Truth and Transparency, JB Gunner, he said maybe he's gonna start watching my videos again. So cheers to him. Happy New Year's there, JB Gunner. You definitely should listen to Lana. But you know what's crazy? I've never talked politics on my show ever, right? So he said, I don't see eye to eye with Lana in her politics. And I'm over here like, what is this man talking about? I've never talked politics in my life. Well, then somebody sent me the clip of a lifetime. And you guys know I'm into like this thing until the end of the school year, that I want to share some clips. So I want one more clip for you guys. Check it out. I'm going to share a clip. Let me do it to it. I think this is it. I could ever, just find my clips when I need them. Nothing but here it is. Yes, I found it. Open up my file, sir. Yes, here it is. Okay. So, I think I understand now why, share screen. Here we go. This is me just, wasting time for you guys. Let's see. Oh, there it is.
He's muted. I can't hear him. Is that supposed to happen?
You should be able to hear him. It's muted.
I mean, I can try to read lips. Are you good at it? We can't hear him. Gotta take this jacket off. Get ready for you guys. Can't hear.
You guys sitting here?
No, look. Hi, everybody.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's always
Tell us
something
what
with
he
this.
said. Do you want to tell us what he said?
No, I just realized though. Can you hear me? I can't even hear myself.
Totally can hear you.
Okay, then we're good. But it was funny because he says that I guess I can play it from my Facebook. He says that I don't know, I guess it was just that she's getting all the pussy. And I was like, that is not a political view.
That's not
just
a political.
That's just a fact. But I was laughing because I was like, I don't even know what this man's talking about right now. But he said he's gonna come on back on over, and I was just like, political views. I was like, I don't even talk politics. If he even knew my political views, he'd probably want to have my baby.
Oh, does he share your political views?
I have no idea. I just, me.
I don't know about him having a baby though. That'd be fun to see.
Anyways, I just want to say Happy New Year to JB Gunner. Cobra pimpin'. Let's do it. So we're going to be talking about Coomer Scott Green, and we're going to take everybody back to 2012, 2013 school year. Okay.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is, in order to talk about the 2012 and 2013 school year, we actually have to start at 2018.
I know, it's so weird.
I know, it's so weird. In order to explain what happened in 2012 and 2013. Now, I think a lot of people know that follow my channel. I'm very familiar with Division I sports in the NCAA. I played at the University of Cincinnati, not one, but two sports. And we had something that was called compliance, where as an athlete at the beginning of the school year, each year, you had to go to a meeting where all of the athletes had to attend this meeting. And it was our guidance counselors were there. The athletic director was there. I mean, I wish I would have paid more attention, but our coaches were there. Obviously, all the teammates were there. We had special guidance counselors for the athletic department. So I had a school, I guess you could say, through the university, but I also had a athletic counselor, and so all of them were there. And was
the president there?
I can't remember if the president was there, but you know what? I'm probably. I know that the dean of students was there, but it was a big meeting every single start of every single athletic school year. And the reason this happens is to talk about any policy changes. Title IX was a big thing coming up in the late 1990s, early 2000s. But policies were constantly changing in some capacity, but we always had to be reminded of stuff and whatever it may be. But it has a lot to do with athletes where, you're supposed to protect each other, not go after each other. If you see something going on, whether it's on campus, whether it's off campus, be there for each other. Also, like, you can't do certain things. You have to have your, GPA. So when anything between like school conduct, you're going to be a good role model, everything to do with your character. But you had to have this meeting every year, and it touched on certain things that people also didn't want to talk about, which was sexual assault, things that you can't do, whether or not you're on campus or off campus, where you need to report things to, who you need to seek out, stuff like that. Just, it's compliance. Like, you have to sign paperwork. You sign like everything away. Basically, you can't do certain things. You're not gonna, this is back before now athletes can get paid. But so in order to understand what happened in 2012 and 2013, we're going to talk about 2018 when, and this is Bella's coming on the channel for a reason, is Bella is going to read a blog that was written by a diver on the University of Idaho Vandal team. She was a diver.
Athlete. She's an athlete.
She was an athlete. Scholarship.
So she worked out and did everything at the Kibbie Dome, like all the other athletes.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the story. And I think the best thing how I want to do it is I want you to read the blog.
Okay.
And then we're gonna explain what transpired beginning in 2012, 2013, and this is the beginning of a story that, like I said, it's going to be 5 1-hour episodes. So take it on, girl.
Okay. So in this, she's quoting certain things that were said to her. So it's titled, I wasn't even ARD. I wasn't even ARD. I wrote this 3 years ago after watching the documentary, The Hunting Ground, on CNN, but never shared it out of fear and shame. Every time a new essay story made headlines, I thought about posting it. Time after time, I didn't. And time after time, another story made headlines. But time's up. We need to speak out about the injustice that happens to women daily, and not just in powerful circles. I'm one of very few victims that found some justice in the end, but it was not without a fight. What were you wearing? Although my actual assault differed greatly, I could not help but compare the aftermath of what happened to me with that of Erica Kinsman, the woman who accused Jameis Winston of R. I also found myself comparing my story to the 159 women who ultimately led to the conviction of Larry Nassar. How much had you drank? I can still recount the comments that were made to me by my own athletic director. Yes, my athletic director. I was a Division I athlete at the University of Idaho when I was SA'd by another athlete at the university. You don't know what he's going through. I was a junior in college when I first met him. A friend of mine from the football team introduced us, and from the minute I met him, I felt on edge. There was something about him that made me uneasy immediately. He was arrogant and clearly disrespectful to women by how he spoke to me. I said hello, but purposefully did not give him my name. He ended our first conversation with, "Fuck with a baller, baby." I'll never forget those words. We can help him. Unfortunately, that was not our last encounter. Being an athlete at a smaller Division I school like Idaho, you inevitably coexist with almost every other athlete on campus. The Kibbe Dome has our weight room, training room, study halls, computer labs, coaches, and advisors all within one building. It was impossible to avoid just about anyone. The next two encounters were very similar with the first and included the same "fuck with a baller, baby" comment every time. Then one day, while getting treatment in the training room, I witnessed the end of his encounter with another female athlete. This was far beyond the harassment that had been exposed to myself. We were arguing back and forth about something, and they were arguing back and forth about something, and he quickly ended the argument with, "So are you going to come down here so I can hit you, or do I have to come up there?" She stormed off the training room without another word. I was shocked. I will mentor him. Clearly, my gut instincts were right about him. I continued to keep my distance and never gave him my name. I intentionally stopped all attempts at interaction. I even kicked him out of my apartment when he showed up at a party we were throwing. I had given him all signs of no, but it happened off campus. I was SA'd by him off campus at a bar downtown. I did not know what to do. I asked myself all the questions that would soon be asked by my university. Was it because of what I was wearing? Was it because I was drinking? Afterwards, I did not know who I could confide in. I did not know where to go and what would happen next. All that I knew was in that moment, I felt unsafe at my university, and that was unacceptable. At this point, it's your word against his. I was lucky enough to have people in my corner. I went to my athletic advisor, and she immediately put me in contact with our campus detective. He gave me two options: file a report or handle it with the athletic department. I naively thought that being an athlete at the university, the athletics department would surely protect me. At this point, all I wanted was to ensure that he did not get to continue the opportunity to be a vandal. Through my athletic career, I was taught to admire a vandal. Vandals are trustworthy, hardworking, honorable student athletes that care about giving something back to the community of Moscow. In my eyes, he no longer deserved to be a vandal. Doesn't everybody deserve a second chance? Statistics show that most S offenders have multiple victims. I found myself wondering if I was his first or one of many. All I wanted was to be able to go into the Kibbie Dome without being afraid to see him. Eventually, I met with my athletic director and the head football coach. It was in this meeting that I was informed that their hands were tied because it happened off campus. But they offered counseling for him as an option. In addition, the football coaches promised to take him under their wing and continue to mentor him and help him. Not once did they offer support for me. You can't go to the dean of students. I left the meeting feeling utterly beaten. I was provided with zero options or resources that made me feel better or safe. It was the end of April, and I had a month of school left before I could go home. At first, like many women, I took their words and accepted that I had tried, but that nothing further could be done. Days went by, and I continued to be deeply impacted by the assault. I had lost all respect for the leader of my athletic department for their failure to protect me, and I began to consider transferring. I did not want to be at a school where not only he got to remain, but at a school where the people whose job it was to protect me were failing me. I no longer knew what a vandal represented. I was also an athlete in his department, but I was not a football player. In Idaho, I soon found that that is all that matters. Tell your teammates to watch out for him. However, I kept asking questions and I began researching. One day I decided to go to the Women's Center on campus to talk to someone about what had happened to me. I just needed someone to listen. I had no idea that they would become my answer to everything. If this happens again, he will be gone. Within minutes of finishing my story, they were on the phone with the Dean of Students office and scheduling me an appointment to meet with them. From there, things moved fairly quickly. At this point, we were only days away from finals. I met with someone and was informed in our first meeting that they could have him suspended from campus almost immediately and could begin their investigation into the assault. Finally, I was being heard. Finally, he was given consequences for his actions because he could not go to practice on campus. I stopped contact with the athletic department and began building a case with the dean of students. It was now that I decided to file against him through the police department as well. I figured if I was going to fight this, I might as well use every angle I could find. This isn't the first time that his name has crossed my desk. I left for home without the chance of seeing everything through. The investigation continued while I was gone, and I was called rarely for information and insight into the investigation. Finally, I received a call from the officer that had been working my case to inform me that they had evidence of the assault that proved him guilty. The officer was on his way to the Kibbie Dome to meet with my athletic director and the head football coach. I instantly felt relief, but I knew there was a chance that the university might not take action until he was found guilty in court. I mentally prepared myself for a trial. Later that day, I received a call from the head football coach expressing his sympathy to me. He was the one to inform me that Jahari Level, I don't know how to say his name. Jahari Level had finally been released from the team and would not be returning. He is no longer a vandal. Jahari left Idaho soon after without much of a fight, so there was no trial. I returned to Idaho for my senior year. I had to finish the university's investigation process with a trial where I was required to recount the details of my assault, as well as watch the video of my assault in front of a jury of peers and university faculty. They found him guilty and expelled him indefinitely. A warrant was put in place, only to expire as a misdemeanor battery assault after a couple of years. In the state of Idaho, unless ARD, it is considered only battery at the misdemeanor level. Being touched inappropriately under your clothing in a public setting without consent is not considered SA in the state of Idaho. I never received an apology from Rob Spear. My story is not common. If it were not for video footage of my assault, Jahari Level would have returned to the University of Idaho to play football like nothing happened. Most SAs do not happen in public. Most victims of SA are faced with having to prove something that happened behind closed doors or without witnesses. In the case of Erica Kinsman, she had overwhelming proof, but the police department that was supposed to protect her failed her. I had support from an advisor, the police officer, my coach, and my team. Even with their support, the flawed university system almost failed me. My athletic director claimed he was not aware of the Title IX law change that protects students from any other student, whether on or off campus. It is his job to know these things to protect his athletes.
I want to say something about that. For him to seriously say that in an open format and out loud out of his own mouth is, as an athlete hearing that is just, that has been in place for a very long time. And to hear somebody try to say like, oh, I didn't know that it was something that extended off campus, that is something that we were like, it was inbred in our heads, like that your actions follow you on and off campus. And I just, to hear that out of that man's mouth and read and hearing this, he's straight up lying, because that was a big part of things that changed heavily, that you don't just have protection on campus, but it's off campus, and athletes aren't going to be going after athletes and things like that. You're a family. So to hear that an athletic director tried to pull that off, to saying, well, I didn't know the policy, that is crazy and so untrue. Go ahead.
It is his job to know these things to protect his athletes, the victims, not the perpetrators. The new headline lately is surrounded around Larry Nassar and the MSU scandal. It has brought many situations to light that people want to avoid and pretend do not happen. I have not spoken out about what happened to me before today because no woman is proud of being a victim. We are blamed over and over for things that happen to us. To begin to question that these stories are false or made up every time is absolutely absurd. The truth is, SA is an epidemic on every college campus. It is time we realize this and start working towards a better future that involves universities protecting their students instead of their image. Today, I'm no longer a victim, I'm a survivor. The article below was released by a non-university website. Clearly, the athletic department wanted to keep the situation quiet, but I am overstaying quiet. I'm writing this in hopes that it will help others stand up against SA. I'm writing this in hopes that the University of Idaho Athletic Department will be the one of many schools investigated by the Board of Education. I'm writing this in hopes that someone who reads this knows that I believe them. More than anything, my heart goes out to the millions of women who did not get a resolution to their assault. There are no words that can make that better. I could never imagine the strength it would take to rise up after going through what you've been through. Keep fighting. I will continue to fight with you.
Now, we obtained the redacted report. So this is a trigger warning, but we wanted to get the report that involved the police department to see who was involved and how this was handled. So this is just your only warning. Obviously, if you're here at Truth and Transparency, this is an adult channel. But we will be reading the report
Can you tell them? So this incident happened in 2012, like Lana was saying in the beginning before I started reading, 2012, 2013. And this, what I just read, she wrote on Tumblr in 2018 because she said it was like around the time to say it, like things were happening and she felt like she could.
She was trying to. She was trying to since 2000 and 12, 13, 14, 15. But she went ahead and said, to hell with it, to the point that this girl, you're going to hear her name, and hopefully we get to hear from her personally. But she basically waived her rights as a student athlete and also just as a student. You have the right to have a ton of things private so that stuff can't get out. She waived those privacy barriers so that more of what she did could be released to the public. She wanted it out there because nobody was doing anything about it. The athletic director, other people that are in powerful and mandatory reporting positions. So, but
And she named the athletic director right there. So
she did.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that.
Okay.
But so what I want us to pay attention to is we've all know what has happened here in 2022 and how the police have handled, the Idaho4 case. Now, I want you to think about everything that has happened with the Idaho4 case. And now we're going to hear these police reports from 2000. You're going to hear the same names. You're going to hear people that you've heard and you're hearing today. And listen to truly what these officers did and said to this girl. And you would think, like, it's been 10 years. Let's see what has happened. Let's see where we're at. So if you want to go ahead and read the, do you have that report in front of you?
No. Do you want to send it or put it up and I'll read it if you want me to?
It's the one that you had read earlier to me. I don't know. Did I send it to you or did you send that to me?
Well, I sent it to you, but then remember they like locked me out. So I'm like, hey, you get in.
Oh, well, it was actually the report. So is that the one?
I don't have that.
I have it.
You have it.
I have it then. Let's see.
Can I explain what happened to her? Because people.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I'm Scott Green, and as of
Yeah,
there it is. You just want to get to that.
Well, it comes out in the report, so I can just read it like that.
Okay.
The U of I full report. Let me see.
Yes, and anyone who's just joining us right now, hi Grammy H. You got one trigger warning, and obviously what I read.
Okay.
Was a trigger warning, probably.
I could put it up on the screen too, I guess. Did I? All right, I'm gonna send it to your email.
Oh, okay.
Is this the one?
I never got to see it because they locked me out, remember?
Is it the 14 or 15 pages? Is that the one?
I didn't even get to see it.
All right, I'm just going to share it.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and do something really quick.
The reason I always had a problem with Coomer Green, well, from the beginning was I had never, maybe it's normal, I don't know. I had never seen a university president at a press release for murder. And it seemed very bad from a PR. It seemed like they were trying to control the PR narrative. And as someone who worked in PR for a long time, it was a bad choice in my opinion. So I never liked them.
I sent it to you. Let me see if I can make this bigger.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you're probably going to have to read it because it's...
Okay. Pulling it up now. Huh. So it's the 15 page you want me to start?
Well, this was the independent investigation report. So, and then, okay.
Where do you want me to start?
I put it up here. It's page 1, but you just have to go. If you go back, I think it's worth the,
Okay. So do you want? Okay. So this was okay. So issues 1: did the university properly address and respond to allegations of misconduct by former football student athlete Jahari Level during the 2012-13 academic year? 2: was there improper influence exerted in spring 2018 over student athletes in the volleyball and or women's soccer programs to require support of the athletics director? Work scope: we conducted this review as independent consultants. Neither of us is an alumni, and we have not been employees of the University of Idaho. We are not related, nor have we worked closely with those who were involved with the issues at question. They're probably going to say, do you want me to read this part?
No, we can go on right to here. Let me zoom in.
I'm not on your page, so tell me the page.
It would be page 2.
Okay. Paragraph. Oh.
So to protect many of our interviewees, we have not specifically identified them.
As noted below, some who were involved would not agree to be interviewed, and one is dead.
Okay, I do want to talk about that. That is going to be a big focal point in episode 2. Episode 2 is going to be talking about the sudden death of the interim athletic director right after Coomer Scott Green took over.
He was 48.
He was 48 years old, and we're going to get into that in episode 2 of this 5-episode deep dive. So that's the one person that's dead. That's who that is.
Regardless, contemporary documents and testimony of many others make it unlikely those whom we can't interview, would provide unknown or significantly different information.
Again, there was stuff redacted. So there you go.
President Stabin. So this is before Coomer took over.
So Coomer Green took over from President Stabin.
Mm-hmm.
So they recused themselves from the investigation based on previous involvement with, go ahead, Dr. Spear. That was
Dr. Spear would be Rob Spear, who was the athletic director in 2018, and at the time that this victim went and had the incident. And one of the main things is see how in that what I read, she said that the football coach called her personally. Well, Dr. Spear never did, and so people think that it might have
never apologized to her. Personally.
Mm-hmm. We've worked with Deputy General Counsel James Craig to request assistance with documents to be found and supplied for our review, as well as witnesses for us to interview. This was an independent investigation, and no one at the university has been involved with our review and analysis other than those interviewed. Nor has anyone, aside from ourselves and the interviewee, participated in the interviews we have conducted. Okay, so this is the overview. A Tumblr post on January 30th, 2018, written by former Idaho student athlete Marian Jameson, who graduated May 2014, expressed her strong disappointment regarding how the athletics department responded to her, and it's redacted. Miss Jameson primarily, blamed athletics director Rob Spear, who's Dr. Spear, for inadequately supporting her. Subsequent publicity by the Idaho Statesman of this post, of the Tumblr post, appeared to be the impetus for a vote for the ASUI, Associated Students of the University of Idaho, to recommend dismissal of Dr. Spear. Dr. Spear was placed on administrative leave, and President Chuck Stabin hired us to investigate the issues set forth above and provide a report. Ella, want to tell them about anything here?
Not yet.
In her interview with us, Miss Jameson indicated that she wrote the blog 3 years ago, but did not publicize it until January 2018. She said that the Me Too movement gave her the courage to speak out finally. Miss Jameson's issue concerned redacted, but even more, she felt that the athletics department had not taken her concerns as seriously as they should. She felt that she was not being heard. In her mind, Dr. Spear had not shown compassion for what she had undergone, but in the courage it took to make the report. I'm wondering if they're redacting Level's name. It's bizarre. We feel it is important to note that we were presented with evidence of Miss Jameson sending a request on January 24th, 2015 for Dr. Spear to accept her invitation to LinkedIn. This invitation would have been contemporaneous to the time she said she wrote the contents of what she ended up posting on Tumblr. When asked for an explanation for the invitation to Dr. Spear in light of her feelings about him not addressing properly, I feel like that's saying his name, but I'm just
They're
guessing.
just they're redacting, I think, the word sexual blah blah blah.
Miss Jameson's attorney informed us that Miss Jameson did not recall the invitation and that if she did send it, she didn't do it on purpose or intentionally. Although it does appear that a LinkedIn Connect invite can be sent inadvertently, we thought it important to report this information. Miss Jameson felt that the others in the athletics
I
department...
do want to speak on that.
Okay.
In the 2022, Kaylee's LinkedIn. Here we go. Back to the LinkedIn stuff. I just want people to see about this LinkedIn stuff. All right, go ahead.
Miss Jameson felt that others in the athletics department to whom she initially reported her coach and the athletics coordinator were compassionate. Miss Jameson reported that once she referred to the Dean of Students office, the university-wide offices supported her and processed her claim. Do we talk about Title IX? So like Lana was saying earlier, as a student athlete,
people can do that on their own time. I think that the application of
Right.
Title IX to this case, it has to do with that it changed from, like I was saying, it was the early 2000s that if you did something off campus to another athlete and to anybody, period, you were subject to the university holding, like your behavior is, you're gone. So, but especially the athlete to athlete, that type of interaction, and that something happens to you and an athlete does something to you off campus. No. It doesn't matter where it happened. That is something that's, boom. We have
problem.
Yeah, we have a problem. We can do something about it. And you can lose your scholarship and you can be asked to leave, expelled, all these things. So that's what this part is about. So I think that we don't have to, people can, if they want to read up on what Title IX as far as this case goes. But I think that moving on to right here, I guess you could,
what
people
page?
People can read it on their own time. Again, the policy changes and notice that would be on page 5. Okay. Again, they can do all that, but but right here it says findings regarding issue number 1. I think that we should read that right there, page 5, where it says, did the university properly address and respond to allegations of misconduct? The facts concerning allegations by Ms. Jameson regarding the sexual misconduct against her are widely publicized. We have determined that there are a number of ways the university failed to provide Marion Jameson the proper support and advice, as well as protection from the traumatic sexual battery committed by Mr. Level. So that was, the first part in regards to issue number 1. They cited and said, yeah, y'all failed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we go then to right here, they did a heavy redaction on page 7. Dr. Spear's current contract and the one he had during, if you want to read that part.
Okay. Dr. Spear's current contract and the one he had during the 2012-13 academic year both have the same provisions requiring him to know, recognize, and comply with all applicable policies, rules, and regulations of the university.
Okay, so hold up one second. When she met with him, and this is part of like the report, the reports that went out when Marion Jameson met with the athletic. She had a meeting with the football coach, the athletic director, her coach, a counselor. They all met, and they flat out told her that their hands were tied and that nothing could be done
Because it happened off campus.
because it happened off campus. Now, we keep hearing about this house being off campus. Okay. And it isn't until just recently that they talk about this house now as part of campus. Okay. I was going back and through my, what do I want to say? My body cams. And I was trying to look for athletes. I truly was trying to look for athletes because this Title IX, athletes, we have no idea who was in the 1122 King House. Okay. That night, that day for the parties. But I can tell you this, if you believe anything that WSU Kim has ever said, and that they have football players and that we know this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. And we know that they were around and they were on the football team and all this stuff. So it's interesting to me when this comes out and some of the names that are going to come forward. I'm just curious what athletes were involved and were around and what was transpiring. Because I tried to get a report and I tried to get the weekend before this happened, there was an OD on campus that it had to do with a volleyball player. And I was not able to get my hands on it because it said that I got part of it, but it was heavily redacted. And it had to do with the fact, in my opinion, that this had to do with an athlete. And it was the weekend of Parents Weekend, and she was there with her parents, and then her parents left, and then basically she OD'd at like 1:30 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning. And I worked my ass off to try to get my hands on that and to try to get my hands on the body cam of when they responded, because I wanted to see how many police officers were responding to this suspicious, circumstances. I won't release the name of the person. That wasn't my purpose for it. My purpose is to try to see how they were responding to certain situations, like when they responded that morning of this, there was an alleged an unconscious person, because that's how it's always being reported to these police officers. And I'm curious on how many people you're sending, what's protocol. And I wanted to see how they handled it the weekend before, because it was kind of the same situation where you have an unconscious person or you have somebody that could have possibly done, this, that, or the other. But it involved an athlete, and I wasn't able to get any further than just a little, sliver. But in one of my body cams, I was able to see, and they were at the house where the guy says, "I don't live here, but my roommate does," or something like that. I even made a comment about it, and I said, "Oh my God, it's the first sign of Black people, like first sign of African American people. We haven't seen a African American person in any video that I've seen." When I say video, body cam from the police, and it's the first one that we saw was that video, and I think there was like 3 or 4, and then in the band field, I think there was. One of the guys may have been of mixed races.
Half.
Yeah, he was, had some, but that was the first. And we're going to get into that. I think it's in episode 3 or 4 where we talk about the social injustices upon the University of Idaho. And that.
Well, the next guy brought in
we'll get into that.
2 athletics that were African American.
So. But yeah,
so yeah, Lana's
going
to get into that. Okay, no. I have to go back. So do you want me to just keep going with
let me take a look here.
You want me to keep going?
He was supposed to, he knew about it. he was supposed to know
Yeah.
about it. Right here, although a strict interpretation, I would say right there.
Although a strict interpretation of this provision would mean that he should have known at the time of Miss Jameson's complaint about the new policy relating to off-campus as misconduct, a shared responsibility of the employer is that adequate notice is provided to employees of significant policy changes. We find that did not happen in this case.
So basically his argument was that he wasn't notified of the change. And so he argued that. And so in this during this investigation and this report, they also kind of sided with the athletic director a little bit. And they said, well, we don't believe that he was properly informed. So
We can go to page 8 and it'll talk a little about that one too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Response by the athletic department. Concerning the treatment of Miss Jameson by the athletic department, we found the following, most of which are reported in the attached Appendix A as well. Miss Jameson first reported to the athletics academic coordinator on April 23rd, 2013. A few days after the April 20 battery occurred. She was accosted off campus at a downtown establishment on the 20th of April. She reported it on the 23rd. The academic coordinator told Miss Jameson they should talk to Moscow Police Department Officer Dave Lemons. The MPD had a contract to provide law enforcement assistance to the university. It appears the academic coordinator, who no longer works for the university and would not respond to our request for an interview, believed that since the battery occurred off campus, it was subject to the MPD process and not within the jurisdiction of the school. Based upon the DCL guidance, she should have been trained to immediately report the Title IX to the Title IX coordinator, which she did not do. Miss Jameson then called her coach, head swimming and diving coach, Mark Soa, on April 25th. So 5 days later, 5 days after the assault, 2 days after she told athletic academic coordinator. The head coach is a mandatory reporter and should have reported to the Title IX coordinator, but he also was not trained and indeed did not do so. As noted in Appendix A, when Ms. Jameson met on April 25th, 2013 with Dr. Spear, head football coach Paul Petrino, Officer Lemons, and her coach, Officer Lemons erroneously told everyone that the university could take no action because the incident occurred off campus. None of the athletic staff or Officer Lemons was aware of the change to the student code. And it says the section that subjected off-campus S misconduct to the university policies. As analyzed above, we believe notice about the change was inadequate. All believe, therefore, that not only the MPD and the athletics department could address this. In addition, the DCL required that each individual in the meeting should have advised this. In addition, the DCL required that each individual in the meeting should have advised this.
Hold on one second. I can't hear.
She probably has to come back in because it was echoing at the end. Happy New Year's Eve. It's really a shame. I guess the police didn't know and
Okay, I can hear you.
none of them knew. You good?
Yeah, sorry, I just couldn't hear.
It's okay.
I got my new AirPods, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So hold
I
on.
knew that thing was going to be problems.
Yeah. Damn it. I'm sorry. I do apologize. That's my fault. Here we go.
It's okay. Ready?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
Okay.
Thank you for hanging on for the host.
You know it. Okay. In addition, I think, wait, where am I? Okay. But okay. All believe, therefore, that only the MPD and the athletics department could address it. In addition, the DCL required that each individual in the meeting should have advised or escorted Ms. Jameson to the Dean of Students' office to immediately report to the Title IX coordinator. None had training to do so, and none did. But if you guys remember in her blog, she said, she had a quote in there that said, "Do not report this to the Dean of Students." So that's interesting.
Yeah. It's
Wonder
all,
who said that.
this is all lies. This is all people trying to cover up for themselves. But let's go ahead and go on over here to
Page.
it's the same, just the next page over.
10.
Yeah, right where it says right where all the redaction happens after Miss Jameson agreed to file charges.
What page?
Oh, I'm sorry, 9.
Oh, back to 9. Okay.
Did you already read that part? I'm sorry.
No. We're fine. After Ms. Jameson agreed to file charges, Lieutenant Lemitz obtained video from the bar where Mr. Level assaulted Ms. Jameson that proved Ms. Jameson's claims were accurate. It is important to note that the athletics department did not have the authority to expel Mr. Lavelle from school, a result Ms. Jameson and her coach wanted. Only the university, through its process, could do that. The head football coach called Ms. Jameson during the summer to inform her of which she reported gave her the feeling of safety she needed to return to the school. The director of the football operations, who kept detailed records for the coach, has passed away, and his records of the time could not be found to determine the date of the coach's call to Miss Jameson, although she recalled it occurred in June of 2013. Am I echoing again for you?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. What do you want me to read?
No, and this is perfect because this is kind of where I wanted to stop, because
Okay.
then episode 2 is going to do, we're going to hear all about the, we're going to hear all about how the police handled this. So this was to introduce everybody to the case, to what happened, but that, guess what, guys? Not only do the athletes on campus at Idaho, if you were in the men's department of football and other sports, were you basically like privileged, but they didn't protect their own athletes, the female athletes, which is just absolutely horrible. But can you imagine then what they were doing with people that weren't even athletes, females that weren't athletes, how they were, because what we're going to hear about is that when this girl went to report and said his name, what they said to her was, well, this isn't the first time we've seen this name. This isn't the first one. And it's like, whoa. And again, this is a trigger warning for the next episode, which will, be tomorrow. It's sick to hear what these officers, whose names you guys are going to fry. Tyson, what's his last name? He was in charge of campus police.
It starts with a B.
Yeah, Barrett.
Yes, it's something like that.
Yeah.
You and I, with our photographic memory, see something once, but it's still
yes.
B-E-R, blah, blah, blah.
But listening to hear these people do exactly what James Fry was, the police chief. And when asked about this and to go and get this and do that, Fry was involved in this. He said, I'm going to go ahead and refer you to the guy that's in charge of campus police. Well, guess what? The chief of campus police. The chief of campus police. Guess what he said? He said, I wasn't even at that time I wasn't even the campus chief during that time. I don't have any of that. I didn't do it. And so what's hilarious is that to me is that Fry knew that. Fry knows where people are and when you would promote people and what positions they're in. Fry is a fucking pussy ass bitch. Sorry, but that's just the truth. That's my take on it. Who wouldn't sit there and talk to somebody once you have proof that this man did this, and we want to bring up the reports that were made in 2012, 2013, and reports that happened before that, okay? And he wants to send you to somebody else. You're the chief of police. And then you send him to somebody that wasn't even in that department at that time, and you would have to know that. And if you don't know that, then you need to leave. You need to leave. You need to leave if you don't know that. If you don't know,
passing the buck, right? Like that's what Miss Jameson feels the whole time.
Yes, and there's no accountability here. Right. And it's you guys. It's 10 years later, and what does Chief Fry do at the presser? Officer Lanier will handle that one. Here you go. Come on up here, Lanier. All Fry does is pass the buck. He's been passing the buck since, and guys, that's how he's been continuing to get where he's gotten. Okay, people have been walking on that man. I don't know who he owes favors to. We're gonna find out though. I'm gonna find out though, because I'm gonna do everything I can. If this woman wants to have a platform to come out here and talk about it and talk about what it was like to be a student athlete there and how she was able to overcome this, she has a platform. We're gonna give her that opportunity. We're gonna give other people opportunities too, because I think
it wasn't the first time, right?
It wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first time.
Do you want to talk about Lavelle at level at all? Lavelle, remember blast from the past, all you people from 2018, Lavelle. Do you want to talk about level at all?
I think that Stony Brook's always been a piece of shit school, and this just proves to me even more how they just take somebody on that's, I mean, how are you taking somebody on that gets let go for these reasons? And here, there's Stony Brook. I mean, Stony Brook can bend over and take one for me. We always beat their asses. We always put them on the schedule to beat their ass. But anybody that takes on an athlete like this that is being dismissed for these reasons, you know, just like how I feel about the Browns. I love my Browns, but why the heck would you bring Deshaun Watson here, who has so many freaking problems, and you're going to pay him guaranteed $240 million? I think that's crazy, you know, versus giving it to guys that are actually good role models and that can actually play as well. Guy hasn't done shit. Guy hasn't won shit. You're going to give him 240 guaranteed. Get out of here. I think people are scared of people. I think women are scared of that dude Lavelle, but we're going to get into him and his shitty ass career he had as an athlete.
So you're saying he left the University of
He had to leave.
Idaho.
He had to leave, but he was picked up. But you want to know what's sick about this? Is that guy had a chance, okay, to continue on playing and go somewhere else. You want to know why? Because none of this became public until 2018. That's why.
Right. That's right.
That's why this guy was able to go and get picked up by a school. But you always ask those questions as a coach. You always ask questions on other coaches, like why'd you kick him off the team?
Yeah.
You can, I'm sorry, but it's public. Do a FOIA request on your boy. See what he's got working. She filed charges on him. And so the point is that I will say this, that he was able to go and play, an attempt to go in the NFL, an attempt to play overseas.
That year, 2013.
In the Canadian League, 13, 14, 15, 16. This did not come out and make a big splash until 2018.
And it's coming back now because of you.
You guys ready? Yeah, it's coming back now because of me. But guess what happened in 2022? Here's a little cliffhanger for you. Ready? In 2023, October 2023. Ready? The same month that Baby Green, President Pimpin' Green,
Daddy Green. I can't. Sorry.
Applied to get the permit to take down the house. Okay. The same month that happened, October 2023, is the same month that the Attorney General of Idaho put a subpoena out on your boy Green to pull all of his financials that had to do with acquiring the University of Phoenix online. Literally,
Wow.
can't make it up. Boom, they throw a subpoena on his ass. Boom, he goes and gets that permit to knock down the house. Boom, boom. Also, he becomes president 2019, but obviously it was already in the works for him to become president 2018. In 2018, we're going to get into it. This guy has so much, I feel like, death around him. And I didn't know it until I dove in it. But this guy has lost the 4 University of Idaho students, a ton of ODs that they want to say are accidental or whatever, but questionable. Then you got
You're gonna say it? I think you should wait till the next episode.
I am. You know what? I am going to wait till the next episode. I love you guys. I love Bella. Thank you so much for being here and being our soothing voice.
Thank you.
She'll be back for
Thank
episode
you,
2. She'll be back for episode 2. You guys, I got every single spot that Coomer Green, when he left as a vandal, every place he ever went and got a job and what occurred during the time that he was there. We got it all. We got a timeline for you. We got Coomer Green. We're coming for that ass. And maybe it's to show that ass is just so shiny. Or maybe it's going to show that ass is not so shiny. I don't know.
And
But
that
we're going to
shiny.
display it. But I'll tell you what, that athletic department, I'll never cheer for another vandal again.
Thanks, Lana. Thank you, guys. Happy New Year. Oh, we're gonna see you tomorrow.
Actually, I'll cheer for the women's teams. I take that back. I'm going to cheer for the women's teams.
Did you just spit?
No, yeah. All right, guys. We love you. We love you so, so much. Bella, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Get that link. Drop her link in chat. She has
Thank
a
you.
channel. She reads a bunch of stuff. You need to start doing children's books.
I promised somebody special I would.
Yeah, maybe like a scary children's book, But all right.
I have one, but it's not children's, and it's like ready to go. But I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Whip it out, girl. Do your thing.
Bye, everybody.
Those of you guys that can't be here tomorrow, a Happy New Year. I will be doing a New Year's special, so join me tomorrow, New Year's Eve, and then on New Year's I'm doing a special. So if you're not doing anything, come party with us. Thank you again to all the mods, members, subscribers, all of you guys that did super chats, all that fun stuff. Appreciate you guys. You guys rock. We love you. Mwah. Take care.